Holy smokes, we are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this college football rebel outpost. If you want to support the true home for the college football sickos with a donation to help us keep the lights on, just hit that $ where you make your comments and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio. Everybody into the studio as we discuss who is going to be the future king of the Big 12. Who is going to be the future king of the Big 12? Because here at Peek Around the Corner, we believe, as of right now, there is a vacancy. Yes, there is the reigning, defending, undisputed Big 12 champion, the Arizona State Sun Devils. And if they do it again this year, and I happen to have predicted Arizona State, and I'm going to be Greg the Gold this year. Greg the Gold. I predicted Arizona State to win the Big 12 championship this year in my way too early predictions. If the Sun Devils do it again, they wear the crown. Now, it might not be for a very long time when Sam Levitt leaves and goes to the NFL and becomes a superstar playing on Sundays. But if the Sun Devils do it again, I got to put the crown on Arizona State. However, there are challengers in the mist, and we're going to be talking about it here at Peek Around the Corner. BYU just picked up a 5-star quarterback recruit. We're going to talk about that. And, you got to look at what Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, are doing, and you can't overlook Colorado. You cannot overlook Colorado. They might take a half a step back this year. But, you've got a lot of pride sitting out there in Utah, the Utah Utes. Their quarterback is a massive wild card this year. Mr. Dampier. Massive wild card. And you got Kansas State, the prideful Wildcats in Manhattan. They're not going to, they think, why not us? Why can't we be the king of the Big 12? And you've got very proud program. Look at what Iowa State just did, for God's sakes. This is the best run of Iowa State Cyclone football in all of your lifetimes, in your father's lifetimes, in your grandfather's and grandmother's lifetime. Mr. Campbell, Iowa State's like, we're great. Great. How could you leave our logo off the title screen? How dare you? We just went to the Big 12 championship game. We lost to the Sun Devils, but Colorado wasn't there. The Red Raiders weren't there. The BY Cougars weren't there. We were there. And then you got other programs like the incredible, prideful Mountaineers of West Virginia. Rich Rod is back. Now, they're not going to win the Big 12 championship this year. But with Rich Rodriguez as the quarterback, with all that support in that state that loves their Mountaineers, could West Virginia finally climb to the top of the Big 12? I mean, there is a lot of programs in the Big 12 that thinks we can be the future. We can be the future king of the Big 12, because right now, according to PATC, let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm being unfair to anybody in the Big 12. I don't want to be unfair to anybody. I don't want to, a lot of sensitivities out there. We are June 24th. Here at Peek Around the Corner, we are right around the corner to the start of the season. So a lot of people in the PATC family are getting a little bit more sensitive. Let me know if it's unfair of the fat guy from Minnesota to declare that there is no king right now. Now, Arizona State has the most rightful claim to it. And if they do it again, I'm giving them the crown. But I can't really give it to anybody. Not yet. What Dillingham has done at Arizona State has been absolutely remarkable. But I can't quite they're the undisputed, reigning, defending champions, but I can't give them the crown. BYU, I mean, look what BYU is doing. Kalani Sitake, He's got everybody behind him. He's got all the support. The donors are coming out. Fantastic job. But I can't give BYU the crown. Obvious. I can't give BYU the crown. We're talking football here. They did not make it to the Big 12 championship game, but man, they had a great season last year. They had a great season last year, and they are right there for this 2025, where hopefully they have their starting quarterback for the start of the season. You can't take away... Look, what Deion Sanders has done, Colorado is ahead of schedule. Look at Colorado Buffalo's records before Deion Sanders got there. What he has done has been remarkable. And we already did a show on Joey McGuire. Right? We already did a live show on Joey McGuire. I've already got the guy on the hot seat. And that is probably unfair because they just went to 3 bowl games in a row. I might be mistaken on that, but I don't think I am. He's done a good job. He's got everybody believing. He's got Cody Campbell and the boosters supporting. It's great to have money. It's great to be able to have that NIL. But you got to win. And the expectations are high in Lubbock. So I can't give the crown to Texas Tech. I can't give the crown to BYU. I can't give the crown to Colorado. Arizona State is reaching for it. Who's going to be the future king of the Big 12? The Big 12 football conference. Let me know with the comments. Let me know with your comments. And let me know with the phone calls later in the show. That is the main topic of today. Because look, BYU got themselves a 5-star quarterback. We're going to be going over his prospects. We're also going to be doing a spotlight. The PAT spotlight is on Georgia Tech. The rambling wreck of Georgia Tech. Last live show we did South Carolina. Before that we did Michigan State. Before that we did Duke. We're going through all the Power 4 programs. Every live show, we put up the old PATC spotlight, and we break down a team for the 2025 season. Today is Georgia Tech. And it's pretty interesting. I'm going to give you a little tease. I'm going to give everybody a little tease. This is separate from the spotlight. When we do a spotlight, we're only breaking down football. Football. And what that team might be able to do for the 2025 season. But I got a little bit more information on Georgia Tech when it comes to the Holy Smokes Theater. This, either tonight or tomorrow morning, we're going to be coming out with our early peak Cloak and Dagger episode. I think it's going to be 58 for members only. The last episode we did was Georgia Tech. This episode is going to be Georgia Tech number 2. That's going to be the title of it. So, if you're not a member yet, go to the description box below the video. There is a link. Hit that link. Become a member. I think it's like $4.99 a month. We dropped a little bit of information before we take it live. In tomorrow's live show, later on in the evening, later on in the day, we are going to be talking about Georgia Tech. Now, for those members, you know what we talked about in the last early peak Cloak and Dagger episode. Well, it's not going to be a repeat of that episode. It's not going to be a repeat of that episode. Wink, wink, nod, nod. So we have got a lot to get to today. I want to go through a roll call here real quick. Expedition Greg, my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your generosity. Chris Evans received a gift membership. Chris, when you get an opportunity, please say thank you for the generosity of Expedition Greg. Both of you are knighted. Cloak and Dagger. So Chris Evans and of course Expedition Greg, you can go to our library of episodes and watch them all, including our episodes for members only. And there's going to be a new one dropping either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. We got another one. Holy smokes. Bill G does it again. And this was great timing because we're going to be dropping a new episode that members are going to watch the moment it drops. Bill G, thank you so much. Eric Phipps, Marquis Crenshaw, KSU Father J, Kurt Searcy, and Ramblin' Ryan. When you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Bill G for his incredible generosity once again. Bill G, thank you so much for all that you've done for our program. And you as well, Expedition Greg. My, oh my, he does it again. 5 gifted memberships. All of you are knighted. Cloak and Dagger. Thank you so much, Bill G. I very much appreciate it, sir. Ryan Thomas is here. Ryan Brooks is here. Jay Go Blue. Eric Phipps, BYU, BYU, BYU. Lee, we are. Let's go, Kenneth Stromness. Today is a 5-star day. I wonder why Stromness is saying that. I wonder why Kenneth Stromness is saying that it is a 5-star day today. Ryan Thomas still doesn't like the OC. The Big Gun Shop is in the house. Jeff Morgan is in the house. Devil Frog. TCU, the only Big 12 team that has won a playoff game. Not just a semifinal win, but the only Big 12 team that has won a playoff game. Coming off a 9-4 season. Mr. Josh Hoover, the quarterback. Yep. There is a very good comment, Devil Frog, Mr. Horn Frog. Yes, I think the Horned Frogs got every right to believe that they're going to be reaching for the crown. It's not in anybody's heads right now. Not in the new Big 12. But TCU has just as much rights to it as anybody else. No question about it. There are other Baylor. I think Baylor's going to be really good. I think Baylor's going to be playing Arizona State in the Big 12 championship game. So I think Baylor's got an opportunity. AMAC is in the house. Al Woody is here. Mr. Terrapin, D5 Terps is in the house. Charlie Atwood, punt. Jose is here. Nitwit, Peter Johnson, the disrespect, Greg. Who am I disrespecting? I don't know what team you are for, Peter Johnson. Of course I left out Cincinnati in my talks. I left out a lot of teams. Oklahoma State. Don Scruggs is in the house. Mr. Georgia Bulldog. Jeff Wise is here. Jeff Morgan. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words. Appreciate it so very much. Go Black 45. Hello, fellow cult members. I did not extinguish the Sun Devils. I did not extinguish the Sun Devils. Do you know why I did not extinguish the Sun Devils? Do you know why? That's why. That's why. This year is Greg the Gold. If I say that Arizona State is going to the Big 12 and they're going to successfully defend their championship, that's exactly what's going to happen. MBM, Tech has won nothing. You're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Joey McGuire, I think he's on. They got it. They've got to do it. They spent a lot of money on that transfer portal. Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle, he's got to bring it. A lot of money was spent on those guys. John Boxleitner is in the house. Thanks for coming on in. Appreciate it. Call Me David is here. The Greg, the Kiss of Death. No way. Karan Shakar is in the house. Horned Frogs reaching for the crown. TCU Horned Frog. Mick Stevens. Foodie Memphis is here. The Architect is here. Expansion Crush. Mr. Hoosier is in the house. Opie is here. Tuffy Duffy 27. Michigan getting recruits like crazy lately. Go Blue. CFB Plus is in the house. Morris Simmons, goal, Florida State. Ty Healy, the Cyclone, is in the house. Thanks for coming on in, Ty. I appreciate it. The Almighty Finn. BYU Pooh, Peter Johnson, not happy. Greg the Cooler, no way. Steel Austin, Mr. Utah Utes. John Grove is in the house. Kansas State has avoided Flugarian's kiss of death. Okay. Well, John Grove, I might have Kansas State covering in Dublin, Ireland. I'm leaning that way. I'm leaning to the Wildcats. So no, don't worry about it. It's Greg the Gold in 2025. Thanks for all you coming on in. Bill G and Expedition Greg, thank you guys for starting it off early today with those very generous memberships. Appreciate it. Sam is in the house. Florida State enters the top 10 in recruiting. Movie Time Blues is here. Okay, let's get to it. We got a lot to get to today. First of all, there was an article on Haynes King, the quarterback, today. Pete Knuckles on 3. We do not go through the whole article, but we're going to go fly by it here. Haynes King, the tough quarterback for Georgia Tech. The Rambling Wreck. This is part of our PATC Spotlight on Georgia Tech. Why Haynes King turned down transfer portal. NFL for final season at Georgia Tech. Haynes King can still easily recall the lessons drilled into him as a kid. As a 4-star recruit from Longview, Texas, he played high school football for his father, John King. The Georgia Tech quarterback has repeatedly dealt with injuries, including last year, which really interrupted Georgia Tech's really good start of the season. He got beat up dating back to his 2021 leg injury at Texas A&M this past season. It was a shoulder issue which kept him sidelined for games against the Irish and the Hokies. But he returned in early November. Haynes King led Georgia Tech over number 4 Miami, helping the Yellow Jackets pull off the 28-23 upset. King admits that his father's message of getting back on the field still rings true, and it's why he's returning in 2025 for his 6th season to finish his college career on his terms. One of my dad's main deals is if you get hurt, don't try to let them know that you're hurting. Try to hide the aspect of it. Wow, tough father, but again, a football head coach father. On top of that, being a quarterback, there's only one quarterback on the field at the time. He said, don't let the other dude get in your huddle, because if you do, you might not ever get it back. That's for any team. King has grown used to being in the old guy on the roster. He's only 24 years old, but he says his teammates tease him that he's 28 or 30. He's typically called either Grandpa or Unse. He jokes. The quarterback is back at Georgia Tech for his final year, passing on the chance to enter the NFL draft. One of the most productive returning quarterbacks in the country. He has a 17-14 record as a starter and is 14-10 at Georgia Tech. That amount of experience had schools showing interest this year's transfer portal. Sources told On3 that multiple Big Ten and SEC schools try to make a run at King in the spring. He would have been one of the most reliable options available. First off, I didn't declare because I had that little shoulder injury, he said. I wanted to finish off the right way. Didn't want to just have that and have a question mark. I'm trying to go into the league, the NFL. Came back another year. I didn't leave because of the relationships and the guys that we have here and the chance that we have to win this year. Haynes King, quarterback, Georgia Tech. There wasn't going to be anything that got me off that topic. The relationships go a long way for me. And what we have here is something special. King had already experienced the transfer portal once. And he decided to leave Texas A&M after 3 years. He has found the community he needed at Georgia Tech. Leaving his offensive system at Georgia Tech and gambling on a final season elsewhere never made sense, he said. I feel like that's just kind of who I am, Haynes King said. I'm not the one who tries to jump ship and quit or try to move on to bigger and better things. Thinking that the grass is greener somewhere else. Is that a shot at Thomas Castellanos, who went from Boston College to Florida State? Thinking the grass is greener somewhere else. This is the ship that I helped build, and I'm a part of it. And let's ride this thing out. See where we can go. Let's try to build a championship caliber team. Not just this year, but for the years in the future. Haynes King is talking about Georgia Tech trying to become the king of the ACC. King has thrown for over 6,000 yards, rushed for 1,400 yards, has thrown 51 touchdowns, rushed for 22 in his career. Georgia Tech nearly knocked off Georgia in Athens last season. A fantastic football game. Fantastic. Coming down to an 8 overtime loss. Clemson reloads this season. And Miami added Georgia transfer Carson Beck in the portal. But King believes Georgia Tech is ready to take the next step and compete for the ACC title, coming off a 7-win season, despite turnover in the wide receiver room, notably Eric Singleton, who went off to Auburn, a big pickup for Auburn. Eric Singleton, along with Cam Coleman, Jackson Arnold, that often should be better at Auburn. Georgia Tech has reloaded with Florida International's wide receiver Eric Rivers. And finally in the article, Georgia Tech opens the season at Colorado. And Richard L., the PATC Colorado Buffalo, says, sounds like a good kid. Too bad they will drop their first game this year. Richard L. throwing an elbow in the chat room. Haynes King. Georgia Tech opens the season at Colorado, giving the Yellow Jackets an early season test to set the tone for 2025. We definitely have unfinished business, Haynes King said. The first one, we've got to take it one game at a time, being at Colorado for the first game. That's going to be a big one. Just take it each week. Make it simple. Some people try to make it too complicated and try to make it harder than it is. If you execute and you do your job and have the players around you playing at a high level, things are going to happen for you. Haynes King, Georgia Tech versus Colorado in that very first game. And there is Richard L. throwing his Buffalo elbow at him. Okay, before we get to it, Expedition Greg, thank you for another gifted membership. Holy smokes. Becky, go Huskies, a PATC original. Both of you, she received the membership. Becky, go Huskies. When you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Expedition Greg. Once again, Becky, go Huskies. You are officially knighted. Cloak and Dagger. Thank you so much, Expedition Greg, for giving out another membership. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Look, before we get into the spot, let's go into the spotlight. Georgia Tech spotlight, PATC. And let's start off with Haynes King. First of all, it's not okay. When he played last year, we watched him. We watched Georgia Tech beat Florida State in Dublin, Ireland. When Haynes King was not beat up, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. You know what I failed to put on this? Shame on me. But Haynes King completed 72.3 or 0.9% of his passes last year. They don't ask a lot from Haynes King in the passing plays. But when they did ask for it, he made the completion. Haynes King, 2,214 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. 587 yards passing. It should be rushing, 4.7 yards average. Haynes King, the leader of Georgia Tech. Jamal Haynes, the great running back. Ran over 1,000 yards 2 years ago. Ran over 900 yards last year. 5.6 yards per rush. 9 rushing touchdowns. 28 receptions. 3 receiving touchdowns. Malik Rutherford, 62 receptions. The great wide receiver. 702 yards receiving. 11.2 average. 3 receiving touchdowns. And the blood, the guts, the soul of the defense, linebacker Kyle Effort. Georgia Tech has some talent. They've got dudes on this team. Yes, they lost Singleton. He's with Auburn. But beyond the dudes, Jamal Haynes, Malik Rutherford, Kyle Efford, they've all been there a couple of years. They've got experience. They've been in the trenches for the Yellow Jackets. What is really interesting about Georgia Tech, beyond the fact that they believe in their coach Key, beyond the fact that the fans are really buying into the Yellow Jackets, beyond the fact that they got dudes on this team, look at their schedule for 2025. One of the most interesting schedules there is. Again, they start out the season at Colorado. But look at their ACC conference games. There are 8 of them. They play at home against Clemson. They play at home against Clemson, and they avoid playing Miami. They avoid playing Louisville. They avoid playing SMU. They avoid playing Florida State. The ACC conference schedule is Clemson, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Duke, Syracuse, North Carolina State, Boston College, and Pitt. Now, they're going to be favored in most of those games. The at Duke game, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But the rest of them, I believe they will be at home against Virginia Tech. Yeah, if they go into that game 1-1 in the ACC conference, let's say they lose to Clemson, make it respectable, go on the road, beat Wake, they're going to be favored against Virginia Tech. They're going to be favored at home against Syracuse. Probably favored against North Carolina State. Favored against Boston College. Favored against Pittsburgh. Georgia Tech has a chance to make a run, go 9-3, pull off an upset somewhere, go 10-2. Who knows? Outside chance at the college football playoffs. It could happen. It could happen. Now, there are a few teams that I like better than Georgia Tech, obviously. I've got Clemson winning the ACC, obviously. I've got Louisville right now ahead of Miami. Those are the top 3 teams in the league. But Georgia Tech could be right there. Number 4, number 5, number 6. We'll see how well Florida State recovers. We'll see if SMU can do it again. They have a more difficult schedule than they had last year. And maybe, just maybe, it's not going to work out maybe, just maybe, it's not going to work out for the Cardinals with Miller Moss. Maybe their outstanding freshman running back isn't like we thought he is. We think he is. Maybe Louisville ain't quite there. Maybe Carson Beck is like what you all say, not very good. I think he's good. Maybe Georgia Tech finds a way to get to the ACC championship game. Put down your comments in the comments section. Give us a call. Let me know. Now, we go on to BYU. 5-star quarterback, Ryder Lyons, BYU commitment, gives the Cougars a monumental pickup. Greg Biggins, 247 Sports. Folsom, California, high 5-star quarterback Ryder Lyons announced his BYU commitment Tuesday. And 247 Sports takes an in-depth look at what the class of 2026 top available signal caller brings to the Cougars. Folsom, California, high 5-star quarterback Ryder Lyons announced his BYU commitment. It's a monumental pickup for BYU and easily among the nation's top prospect. He's currently 2026 class, top 247's number 13 overall prospect, number 4 quarterback, and number 1 player in the state of California. Let me show you what 247 Sports, Greg Biggins, national recruiting analyst. Let me show you what he, now this is before, right? This is before he committed to BYU. This was the recruiting and that analysis. If I can find the right, here we go. Let me pop this up a little bit so people can see. Lions, again, Greg Biggins, national recruiting analyst. This was back done in May 19th, 2025. Lions is an exceptional talent and has been one of the top quarterbacks in the region since the sophomore year. Has rare combination of arm talent and movement ability and can shred a defense with his arm and his legs. A pure thrower with a live arm and understands how to change speeds and throw with anticipation. Accurate to all 3 levels of the field and throws the deep ball with touch and can rip fastballs in the tight windows. Equally dangerous when a play breaks down and has to improvise off script. Holy smokes. Elite in his ability to make multiple defenders miss. This guy is a god. Elite in his ability to make multiple defenders miss, and is creative in how he can buy time and make throw down the field or take off and run for plus yards. Woo! It's getting hot here in the studio. He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid who doesn't shy away from contact and will take a shot, but hang in the pocket to deliver the football. A highly competitive player with a strong off-the-field work ethic and draws praise from his coaches and teammates for his leadership skill. Has one of the highest ceilings among the quarterback group in his class, and assuming he continues to develop, should be playing on Sundays for a very long time. Holy smokes. Greg Biggins, 247 Sports. My, oh my goodness.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Woo! So there it is. There it is. Ryder Lyons out of California, Folsom, California. Big news today. Commits to the BYU Cougars. Wow, very impressive by the BYU Cougars. They get themselves a 5-star. Again, he probably won't go under center for a couple of years, I'm guessing. I could be wrong, but it's going to take him a while. But once he gets there, once he gets his feet set, BYU Cougars. Now this guy, he comes in. The BYU Cougar fans are already all fired up from what they did last year. They're already all fired up for what they could do this year, even though there's still worries about the OC and everything. BYU had a great season last year. They're lined up to have a great season this year. And they don't need help selling tickets. But Ryder Lyons is still going to inject a lot of fuel in that program. We'll see if he becomes a recruiter. One of the great things about having a high-level quarterback is that those are the type of guys, if he has the right intangibles, if he draws up good relationships with those that he goes to camps with, he can help recruit at BYU if he takes that leadership role. A lot of interest in BYU Cougars. And this is why the title screen, who is the future? Who is the future king of the Big 12? Who's it going to be? Because really, it's up for grab. It really is. It really, truly is. Is somebody going to take the crown? At least for a short period of time. I want to hear your phone calls. I want to hear your comments. Now, again, I'm not ready to give the crown yet to Arizona State. They were mighty good last year. They had a great transfer running back from Sacramento State, the Hornets, Cam Scatabo. A great quarterback in Sam Levitt. He's coming back this year. He's absolutely outstanding. If you don't go before this season, no, way before that. I was going to say before the season starts. Do it before August, the month of August, when we do our official prediction of order to finish in every conference. In our way too early predictions, PATC has Arizona State winning the Big 12 championship again. Before we do that, go watch the Arizona State-Texas game. Forget about the Big 12 games. Push those aside. Which he was brilliant, by the way. But go watch what he did against Texas. Go watch how Sam Levitt bought time. They're talking about Ryder Lyons can do all this, right? He may end up being a superstar of superstars. Sam Levitt this year, go back to last year, what he did against Texas. They ran him out of the pocket. They made his life miserable, even with Cam Scatabo doing some damage. Remember, Jordan Tyson, Arizona State's #1 receiver, wasn't even playing that game. Sam Levitt made some plays with his legs, looking downfield, giving his receivers extra time, bailing out his offensive line. Sam Levitt was absolutely brilliant. Texas probably would have handled Arizona State comfortably if it wasn't for the play of Sam Levitt in that football game. So I got Arizona State winning in this year, but I'm not willing to give Arizona State the crown until they do it again. If they do it again, here is the crown. And what is so fascinating about this year in the Big 12 is you've got Texas Tech sitting there with that quarterback, that 6-year quarterback. Same with Jake Ratzlaff, by the way, BYU. You've got Texas Tech, the Red Baron Morton. He is ready to lead that team to a Big 12 championship. If they get the defense that they think they got in the portal, starting with Lee Hunter, the great defensive tackle, Texas Tech, this is your time. This is your time to take the Big 12 championship. And if you do it impressively, with all that support backing you up, I might just give you the crown right after you win the Big 12 championship game. And if BYU can win the Big 12 championship game with all that is coming on board, with Ryder Lyons and the incredible support that you have, I might give BYU the crown right there and then. Or if Deion Sanders can improve with Colorado, put them at another level with that transfer quarterback from Liberty Salter and what they got behind him, they've got a dude behind him, I might give Colorado the crown. This is a very important year in the Big 12. Not to mention Kansas State with Avery Johnson. Not to mention Iowa State with Rocco Beck. Not to mention the prideful Utah Utes with the biggest wild card in all the conference. That damp you. You're gonna have to bring him down. So this is a big, massive year in the Big 12. We're going to go to your phone calls. I want to hear what you got to say. I'll go through some of your comments here. Of course, super chats take precedent, and then members, but we'll get to your comments. Phone line is open, 763-260-1333, 763-260-1333. Jose is I'm swinging towards BYU now. CFB Plus, I don't think we'll see a King in the Big 12 like we do in other conferences. I agree with you. I'm not talking about a King that's going to be able to wear his crown for a long time. But I'm talking about a King in that, and when you bring up the Big 12, you first think of this football team. Arizona State is getting awfully close to that, but I don't think they're quite there yet.
From
Ryan Thomas.
Ryan Thomas, BYU Cougar. The floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir.
Well, I think this year it's going to be an 11-1 Texas Tech and an 11-1 Kansas State Wildcats facing off in Dallas. That's my Big 12 championship prediction.
Kansas State and Texas Tech.
Yep, that's my prediction. So,
okay.
I think that's what happens.
So you don't think Arizona State's getting back there?
No.
And you think BYU is going to come up a little short?
Probably. Playing 5 road Big 12 games will be tough. And look, I have a different take. The defensive coordinator there, Jay Hill, is probably one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. That defense is going to be good again. But that offensive coordinator, Aaron Roderick, he is the American cheese of offensive coordinators, the worst offensive coordinator. I would not put him on a burger if it was the last thing I had to eat in the world and I was, starving.
Wow.
Utah could be good. That offensive line is going to be good, but the problem with Utah,
they got a couple dudes.
But the problem with Utah is you've got a new offensive coordinator with a new offense and a new quarterback, and sometimes that takes a while to get going, Greg.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get gelling. So, Utah certainly could be, in the hunt, but they'll probably fall short because we'll have had a slower start to the season, in my opinion. We'll see how that turns out. I think BYU probably my guess would probably be around 8 or 9 wins. I guess I think that I think Ratzlaff will play, but he's a gunner, and he kind of has that he sort of has that that Jake Plummer like craziness to him that you kind of just you hold your breath every time he throws the ball in the air.
Yeah.
So and he could be great. He could struggle. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep my hopes measured here, Greg. Just because hope is a dangerous thing. So,
but for some of us, that's all we got. We don't have reality. We just this is our best. The best for some of us, Ryan Thomas, the best part of the college football season is right now, before the games start. Okay,
that's true. As we talk about here in Washington D.C., the Commanders or the Redskins. For years we talked about being off-season champions.
Yeah.
That was the only thing we had to hope for. Hopefully that turns around. But I get you. I get you.
I got BYU football schedule up on the screen here, and they start the Big 12 schedule at Colorado.
Yeah.
Late night game. They're at home against West Virginia. On the road against Arizona. At home against Utah. So that's a schedule that you can work with right there.
Oh, yeah, now, it is.
That first road, the first game being on the road late at night, ESPN, that's going to be kind of. But then you got road games.
But Colorado's rebuilding on the offensive side of the ball, and I think I think that. They really struggled with BYU's defense in that bowl game, and I don't think they're going to learn from that. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
And then they got a road game, but they do have a bye in there. Road game at Ames, Iowa. Road game at Lubbock, Texas. And this is probably where the season's going to be decided, right? Those 2 road games.
Absolutely. Every year, every 10-2 season, every year we have a couple of weeks in the season where we have back-to-back losses, and that's if we have a 10-win season, that's where the back-to-back losses will be in Ames and Lubbock. It seems like that seems to be the pattern that happens to us all the time. Is anytime we have a good season, there's always that block in the middle of it where we just lose 2 straight games and that's where I think it's going to be. Arizona State I think is going to be good, but the question is what does how does Sam Leavitt react without having Scadaboo in the backfield to keep that offensive line honest?
They got the kid from Army. We'll see how he does. The transfer Army.
Yeah, he's going to get blitzed a lot, but I think. But the thing is a lot of people are going to have ASU on their bullseye, their radar. Yeah. So I don't think anybody's ignoring them or taking them lightly. And that being a conference champion means you always carry a target on your shoulders. So that's something that they have to deal with. It'll be a good season. I hope the committee gives the conference more respect this year, and I hope that I hope that it doesn't beat itself up. But anyway, I'm not going to take any more time. Thanks a lot, Greg. I'm happy about Lions, but like I said, I think he's going to do. I think he picked BYU mainly because he wants to do an LDS mission after high school, and he'll have a guaranteed spot, 2 years from that point. So I think that's why he's doing it, and we'll wish the kid. I hope he can be exactly what he pans out to be, and. But anyway, I'll get off the call. Take care, Greg.
Appreciate it. Great call, sir. Fantastic. Great call. I see that I see that BYU does not play Kansas, who they lost to at home last year. They don't play Kansas State either. But they do play Texas Tech. They do play Utah. They got a Texas Tech TCU back-to-back weeks. But their bye is right in between Iowa State and Texas Tech, and right between Stanford and ECU. They got an early season bye. A Colorado game is going to be pretty interesting. So BYU, that is their football schedule. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. Who is going to be the future king of the Big 12? BYU's last game should be Utah. They have to fix their rivalry week schedule. I agree. Go Black 45. You can't have I don't think you should have every rival game on the last week of the season. Because some of them are going to get buried, right? Exposure, they're going to get buried. But the Holy War should be the last week. I don't understand that. I agree with you, absolutely. Let's see here. There is... And here it is. We talked about it in the article. Haynes King. Is this a shot at Thomas Castellanos, who is basically throwing shade at Boston College and talking about how he had to rip up the ACC all alone when he played for the Eagles? Haynes King, I'm not the one who tries to jump ship and quit. This is the ship that I helped build, and I'm a part of it. Now, Georgia Tech does not play Florida State this year. We went through that schedule of Georgia Tech. Really interesting schedule. One in which I think they can make a run here. If Haynes King stays healthy, I think they can make a run. They got Clemson at home, which of course is going to be mighty difficult to win that game. But they do not play Louisville. They do not play Miami. They do not play Florida State. They do not play SMU. It's a schedule in which Georgia Tech can make a run. Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. When is Texas State going to make the announcement? I'm ready for all this to be over. Hopefully that announcement comes before July 1st. That would be bad news for Texas State if it did not happen before July 1st, because the exit fee goes from $5 million to $10 million. Greg, most of the top quarterbacks are transfers. King was also a transfer. Yes, he was. Texas A&M. Yeah, he jumped ship. Mr. Monkey says Utah will never win the Big 12. Forever is a very long time, Mr. Monkey says. CFB Plus, I think the Big 12 has so much potential, and as a large part of that is everyone has a shot to win. What about Oklahoma State? They got a chance to win it. I really don't have Oklahoma State contending this year. Just my opinion. Maybe Oklahoma State will be the next spotlight team. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do Oklahoma State tomorrow. Today was Georgia Tech. What about Oklahoma State? I don't think they got to. Now, last year, in my prediction of order to finish, I had Oklahoma State way down. And I got a lot of flack from you all because I did not like that quarterback. And they had a terrible year last year. Maybe they're going to be better this year, but I don't have them contending. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do Oklahoma State tomorrow. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. Big-time baseball player Eric Becker, Virginia, which there was a bunch of reports that everybody was going after him. He is expected, he has officially withdrawn from the transfer portal. He's going to stay at Virginia. I know that's baseball, but that's been all over the place.
Call from
AZ Buckeye.
AZ Buckeye, thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it. The floor is yours.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, a question. On the college football playoff go forward, do the Big Ten and the SEC have to agree, or are the percentages of voting such that the three of the A4s can override one of the big two?
That is a great question, and I don't have a great answer for you. I thought that if both of them agreed, of course, they would have the power to do what they need to do. But if they did not agree, then you could get some support from the Big 12 and the ACC and push whatever the SEC wanted to do. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like, but I don't know for this for sure, but it sounds like the Big Ten and the SEC both hold the veto pen. That they both have to agree.
Okay. That was the word I kind of was coming up with, veto power.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like it. Now, if you go through all the public reporting on the college football playoffs, LLC, and the voting power, you never really truly read. I have never seen that written. I have not seen that written. But in the last couple of weeks, if you kind of read between the lines of this reporting, it sounds like if the SEC and the Big Ten do not agree, then we're going to stay where we're at with the 12-team playoffs. And that's how it's just going to be. It's a great question.
Huh. All right. Well, good. Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, as always.
You got it. Appreciate it. Great call. AZ Buckeye. Call again, sir. Beautiful call. Rod Nix, Minnesota versus Florida State in Charlotte for the Duke Mayo Bowl. You down for it, Greg? My answer to that would be I'll tell you something.
Call from
Nitwit.
Nitwit is on the line. Nitwit, can you hold on for just one moment, please?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. The reason why I went no on that Rod Nix is the Minnesota Golden Gophers were just in the Duke Mayo Bowl last year. We've already seen the mayo, the mayonnaise, the Duke Mayo be spread over the bald head of PJ Fleck. So the Gophers are not going to have any interest going back to the Mayo Bowl. We'll play Florida State. If you want to play us in a bowl game, we'll do it. But it can't be in the Mayo Bowl because we were just there. Go ahead, Nitwit. The floor is yours.
Hey, Greg, thanks a lot for the show, and it's great to be talking about football again.
Yep.
What an exciting open conference the Big 12 is going to be, just bringing up all those teams. So all the Big 12 fans out there, it's going to be a wide open, exciting season. So
yeah,
want to congratulate them. Just kind of feeling the recruiting doldrums here. Penn State's lost out to a couple big names, and I'm getting ready for football and trying to get excited. And I wanted to call in and just say I agree with you. Georgia Tech, rooting for them, and looks like they have a good situation to maybe make a run. But I also wanted to bring up a question now that we've got some of these house settlement things taken care of. What is your opinion on the transfer portal, and will anything ever be done to kind of not rein the transfer portal in, but kind of, I guess, what's your opinion on what would be the best time for a transfer portal?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Right now they have like a winter and a spring or something like that.
Yeah, they keep going back and forth. It's going to be January or April, and it sounds like the Big Ten is lining up.
So there's only going to be one.
Yeah, well, that's what it sounds like, and the Big Ten is lining up their support for April, and it sounds like the SEC is lining up their support for January.
Gotcha.
So it's even.
What do you think? What do you think, Spence?
I have read pros and cons on both ways. I can see why the SEC wants it January. The Southeastern Conference doesn't want to get a player, go through spring camp, and then lose them. Like they're investing all this time in coaching them up, and then they lose them I don't know. I really don't have an answer to that, to be honest with you. I've read both. Like the Big Ten wants. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Where would you rather have the portal? January or April? It sounds like it's one of those two.
I know they keep saying this, but I think, like, to me, football has always been July to July.
Okay.
I don't know if people understand what I'm talking about. Usually you start, I'm just going off of my own experience playing college football.
Mm-hmm.
I think there should be an open period the whole month of July, and that's all you get. You either get them into camp, before the start of the season, or they go through spring ball, and then they have some time to decide what they want to do. And people don't understand this either. It's also roster management. You could have a coach come to you and be like, look, you're just not where we're at, and we don't want you on the team. Like, that happens, Greg, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we can and then you need to go through and help this kid. I think that's where we're missing. Like, maybe schools can be more at that time, like, hey, let me find your roster. You know what I mean? Like, there's a big problem with all these kids rushing in at these times, and then there's how many kids that don't get picked up. You know what I mean? That's why I think a month of July, if you had all month of July, you know a kid after spring ball is not going to fit on your team. You can start reaching out to other coaches saying, hey, this is a great kid, just not fitting on our team. You have the whole month of July. You get them in before. I know it's tough to start that next season, but at least, you know what I mean? You're not getting these kids like making these decisions and rushing right into the portal.
Yeah.
And then you have all these people in the portal, and then you have how many kids this last time didn't get picked up in the portal. You know what I mean? So I think needs to be like a comprehensive look at what that entails and what that means for the players.
Mm-hmm.
And how can these schools that, I mean, it kind of works both ways. And, you know, I've seen it happen with some Penn State wide receivers where the coach was just honest and be like, look, you're not going to fit in. Like, you're just not going to fit into the picture here. And you might need to move on. You know what I mean? Like, that's,
Yep.
that'll happen. And maybe there could be some time to kind of where a school could help this kid through this process instead of these knee jerks. Oh, I'm in the portal. And then all of a sudden, like, you're not in the portal anymore. And then the school don't have to take you back. So a lot of this, when you talk about player empowerment and like what they've gained, people don't talk about the other end of that. There's a lot of players that are losing their ass. Because if I got into the portal and I don't get picked up, that means I've lost my scholarship. I'm probably not going to play D1 if no one picked me up. Then I have to go down a division. I lose my shot at maybe locking on in an NFL team, like on a you know what I mean, just get picked up and then be invited to minicamp or something like that. So there's a lot going on there. I think it's a bigger problem than what people think, but I just want to call in and say, Greg, you do a great job, man. I haven't called in for a while. I've been camping and
before you go,
enjoying summer.
Before you go, you started the call with Penn State recruiting. We got to talk about Pierce Peterson. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. He's from Dodge Center in Minnesota. Now, yesterday, the Gophers got a good news. They had one of their very top player in the state, Roman Voss, who's considered an athlete, probably going to play tight end. It was between Minnesota and Alabama, and Minnesota got Roman Voss. But Minnesota is also waiting for the decision from Pierce Peterson, who is considered an athlete, probably going to play tight end, but he's got to put on 20, 25 pounds. But it's between Penn State and Minnesota. And the decision could come at any time.
Well, I'm kind of going to give you some inside scoop here. Penn State went top heavy with securing their long-term players for this big run, and that's what Penn State players are. Penn State fans are just losing their mind. We lost two big recruits to Notre Dame. There is some of these positions that Penn State, it just kind of drives me crazy that if you ever notice, like James Franklin will just stockpile 4 or 5 guys in one position, and then like we'll have a horrible, right guard. You know what I mean? It just
No, I get it.
It's just weird. Like, oh wait, we'll have these great running backs, but then our wide receiver sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I mean, your running back room is like 8 deep right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so if I'm an edge rusher and Penn State's already got 2 or 3 on the squad, why am I going to Penn State?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and wait 2 years. I think that's going to be the advantage to you guys.
Well, I don't think he's going to be an edge. I think he's going to be a tight end. But
Right, I know what you mean, but I'm just saying, like, Penn State's tight end room's the same way.
Yeah.
So,
well,
am I going to wait 2 years to get on the field?
I would tell. It's going to take a couple years for this guy to get on the field, anyways, no matter where he goes, because he's too light.
Right.
Right. But according to Minnesota, Minnesota 247, they believe Penn State has the edge. Pierce Peterson just left Happy Valley, just left Penn State yesterday. And people thought he was going to commit, but he's come back home. So everyone's waiting for the announcement. He does have a little bit of a relationship with Roman Voss, who just committed to Minnesota. Right. So we'll see. But it's between Penn State and Minnesota. And he's a freak athlete who's going to have to get stronger. So none of us are going to see him for a couple of years. But I just want to throw that by you.
Yeah, I know. Those battles are getting tough.
Yeah.
But don't count yourself out. And I would, just my understanding of that tight end room, I would go lean Minnesota.
Lee in the chat room said Peter's son just posted on X that he's making his decision tomorrow. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it.
Oh, my God.
So we'll find out.
We'll find out, Greg. You take care of yourself.
You got it. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Beautiful call. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, Peter's son is not a guy that either Minnesota or Penn State is going to be playing for a couple of years, but a freak athlete. He's a little light in the britches. He's going to have to put on weight. I think he's going to be a tight end. That sounds like what is going to happen. Texas Tech will win by 17 in Salt Lake City. The Big Lubbock. We've already had him, Al Woody. He's from Minnesota. It's down to Minnesota and Penn State. There's not much left to be said. I'm sure he's got some sort of NIL offers from Penn State and Minnesota. He's got some sort of idea how much he's going to make in rev share. Penn State is the bigger, better program. Minnesota is his home state. He can probably get on the field earlier at Minnesota. But either way, it's going to take him a couple years. I mean, he's going to have to bulk up. It's going to take he's going to be a project. But he's an absolute freak athlete. That's why Penn State and all these big programs are after him. So we'll see. But I do appreciate Lee the information that he is going to be making his decision tomorrow. Today's show, who's going to be the future king of the Big 12? What say you? What say you?
From
Evil Badger.
The Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, is on the line. The floor is yours. What do you think, sir?
Hi, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy.
Hey, Greg.
Yep.
Okay, so this goes back to the lawsuit that Wisconsin filed against Miami.
You got it.
Okay, so with the understanding that Wisconsin knew that the contract wouldn't be enforceable until the revenue share was approved.
Yep.
Would it look at signing the contract still be kind of binding when revenue sharing started? Because when people sign contracts, even extensions, those contracts don't go into effect until the time, but it's kind of difficult to get out of those. And there's usually buyouts of those. So
well, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a contract lawyer. I'm a nobody. Now, a lot of these teams had these players signed these memorandum of understanding contracts, whatever you want to call them, with the idea that the school is committing this amount of money to you, the player. There was a commitment made from the team, and you as a player are committing to the contract, and there's probably some buyout language in there. So, well, all these teams, all of them, not just the Big Ten, not just Wisconsin, believe that these are binding contracts. And you can get out of them, but there's going to be some compensation coming back to the team that loses the player. That's the understanding. Now, we'll see what happened in the courts. We haven't heard from Miami yet, so we'll see if there's some sort of...
I don't think we will.
Huh?
I don't think we will.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get... Maybe this all will go away with some backdoor negotiations. But going forward, everyone is thinking that these contracts are binding. If the player gets out of it, like a coach gets out of the contract, then there's going to be some buyout clause, some compensation coming back to the team that loses the player. We'll see what happens with this one, because this happened before the settlement became official. But again, it wasn't just Wisconsin. It was everybody in the ACC, everybody everywhere thought these contracts were binding. So we'll find out together.
All right. Well, that's all I had, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it. Appreciate it.
All right.
Beautiful.
All right. Bye.
Great call, Ryan Willie. Now, if you're new to the program, please subscribe to the program and turn on your notifications, because we can come on live at any time. Anytime we can come on live for breaking news, whatever. We're going to have a little bit of information to share with you tomorrow during our early Pete Cloak and Dagger membership only episode. So you might want to become a member. You might want to go to the description box below the video, hit that link button. We got more information on Georgia Tech. We're going to share with you tomorrow morning, and then later in the day tomorrow, we're going to go with it live. So buckle up, brace for impact. We're going to shut it down. We've been on the air for an hour and a half. I appreciate everybody joining us. Again, before you leave, subscribe to our channel, smash the like button if you've liked our content, and have those notifications turned on to our channel. I want to thank those who donated to our show. Expedition Greg and Bill G. Thank you so much for your generosity, helping us keep the lights on. I very much appreciate it. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. We talked about the future of the Big 12, who is going to be king of the Big 12. And we also talked about Haynes King, who is going to be... Look, Georgia Tech has got a shot. They've got a shot to challenge for the ACC championship this year. That schedule looks pretty good. Pretty good. And then we talked about BYU. 5-star Ryder Lyons commits to the Cougars. Pretty good news great news for the BYU Cougars. Great news. So I hope you enjoyed our show today. Keep your head on a swivel. Join us tomorrow. Peek around the corner. What are we, 9 Saturdays away from the start of the season? Let's go. Let's go. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.